Assalamualaikum and I am Aladdin A. Jamil, ABPD-2A Group 3 reporter. My topic is a growing human population. The world population has topped 6 billion people and is predicted to double in the next 50 years. Ensuring an adequate food supply for the booming population is going to be a major challenge in the next year to come. Genetically modified foods promise to meet this need in a number of ways. Number one is pest resistance. Crop losses from insect pests. Yung nakikita nyo sa screen is yan yung example ng pest resistance and can be struggling, resulting in devastating financial loss for farmers and starvation in developing countries. Farmers typically use many tons of chemical pesticides annually. Consumers do not wish to eat food that has been treated with pesticide because of potential health hazards and runoff agricultural wastes from excessive use of pesticide and fertilizer can poison the water supply and causes harm to the environment. Growing genetically modified foods such as corn can help eliminate the application of chemical pesticides and reduce the cost of bringing a crop market. So, ang pest resistance is ang paglaban sa peste ay tumutukoy sa kakayahan ng mga halaman na makatiis sa pinsala o infestation ng mga peste. Tulad ng mga insekto, pathogen, madalas itong nakakamit sa pamamagitan ng pag-anak o genetic modification upang isama ang mga katangiang humahadlang o nagtataboy sa mga peste na binabawasan ang pangangailangan sa chemical na pestiside. Number 2 is herbicide tolerance. For more crops, it is not cost-effective to remove weeds by physical means such as telling farmers will often spray large quantities of different herbicides. Weed killer to destroy weeds, a time-consuming and expensive process that requires care so that the herbicide does not harm the crop plant or the environment. Crop plants genetically engineered to be resistant to one very powerful herbicide could help prevent environment damage by reducing the amount of herbicide needed. Example niya is dyan sa screen yung pag-pesticide sa farms. Ang herbicide tolerance ay tumutukoy sa kakayahan ng halaman na makatiis sa paggamit ng mga herbicide. Kadalasan sa pamamagitan ng genetic modification. Ang katangian nito ay nagpapahintulot sa mga pananim na mabuhay habang ang herbicide ay nag-aalis ng mga damo na ginagawang mas mahusay ang pagsasaka at binabawasan ang pangangailangan para sa mano-manong pagkontrol ng damo. Number 3 is disease resistant. There are many viruses, fungi, and bacteria that cause plant disease. Plant biologists are working to create plants with genetically engineered resistant to this disease. Ang paglaban sa sakit ay tumutukoy sa kakayahan ng isang organismo o makatiis o magdepensa laban sa mga nakakawang ahente tulad ng mga bakterya o mga parasito. Ang paglaban na ito ay maaaring maimpluwensyahan ng mga genetic na kadahilanan, mga kondisyon sa kapaligiran at ang pangkalahatang kalusugan ng immune system ng organismo. Number 3, number 4, cold tolerance. Unexpected frost can destroy sensitive seedings. An antifreeze gene from cold water fish has been introduced into plants such as tobacco and potato. With this antifreeze gene, these plants are able to tolerate and cold temperatures that normally would kill unmodified seedings. Ang cold tolerance ay tumutukoy sa kakayahan ng isang organismo, halaman na makatiis at makaligtas sa malamig na temperatura. Madalas itong nagsasangkot ng mga psychological adaptation tulad ng paggawa ng mga antifreeze compound, pagbabago ng metabolismo o pagbuo ng mga insulating structure. Drought tolerance, salinity tolerance. As the world population grows and more land is utilized for housing instead of food production, farmers will need to grow crops in location previously unsuited for plant cultivation, creating plants that can withstand long period of drought or high salt content in soil. Ground will help people to grow crops formerly inhospitable places. Ang pagpaparaya sa tagtuyot at pagpapaubaya sa mga kaasinan ay parehong mahalagang katangian sa mga halaman, lalo na para sa agrikultura ng rehiyong may kakulangan sa tubig o mataas na kaasinan ng lupa. Layunin ng mga breeder na bumuo ng mga uri ng pananim na may ganitong mga katangian upang matiyak ang mas mahusay na ani at katatagan sa mga mapaghamong kapaligiran. Nutrition. Malnutrition is common in the third world countries, where impoverished people rely on a single crop such as rice for main staple of their diet. However, rice does not contain adequate amounts of necessary nutrients to prevent malnutrition. If rice could be genetically engineered to contain additional vitamins and minerals, nutrients deficiencies could be alleviated. For example, blindness due to vitamin A deficiency is common problem in the third world countries. Ang nutrisyon ay mahalaga para sa pangkalahatan, kalusugan at kagalingan. Ito ay tungkol sa pagkonsumo ng balanseng diet na nagbibigay ng mahalagang nutrisyon tulad ng mga bitamina, mineral, protina, carbohydrates, at malusog na taba upang suportahan ang mga funksyon ng katawan at mapanatili ang pinakamainam na kalusugan. Ang pagkain ng iba't ibang pagkain mula sa lahat ng grupo ng pagkain ay susi sa pagtiyak na nakukuha mo ang mga sustansyang kailangan ng iyong katawan. Page 2. Pharm- Pharmaceuticals, medicines, medicine and vaccines often are costly to produce and sometimes require special storage conditions not readily available in third world countries. Researchers are working to develop edible vaccines and tomatoes and potatoes. This vaccine will be much easier to ship, store, and administer than traditional injectable vaccine. Ang mga parmasyotiko ay tumutukoy sa mga gamot o gamot na ginagamit para sa medikal na paggagamot o pag-iwas sa mga sakit na karamdaman. Maaaring kabilang sa mga ito ang mga nireresetang gamot na nabibili, mga bakuna at iba pang uri ng produktong medikal. Phytoremediation. Not all genetically modified plants are grown as crops. Soil and groundwater pollution continues to be a problem in all parts of the world. Plants such as popular trees have been genetically engineered to clean up heavily mental population from contaminated soil. Ang phytoremediation ay isang proseso na gumagamit ng mga halaman upang linisin ang kontaminadong lupa, hangin at tubig. Ito ay isang environmental friendly at cost-effective na diskarte sa pag-remediate ng mga polluted na lugar. Disadvantage of genetically modified organism. The pros and cons for using genetically modified organism or GMOs are vast and varied, but there is little argument over the uncertain consequence of this relatively new science. The pace at which GMOs have found their way into the food supply is what frightens many opponents, as long-term risk assessment won't be available for many terms. Ang isang kawalan ng genetically modified organism or GMO ay ang potential para sa sinasadyang mga kahilatan sa kapaligiran ng pagbuo ng mga peste na lumalaban sa pestisidyo o pinsala sa mga hindi target na organismo like dito example sa tomatoes. Advantage is tomatoes can remain fresh longer, then tomatoes can tolerate lighter transport time. Ang disadvantage naman is tomatoes are resistant to antibiotics. Reduce biodiversity. Ang mga long-term health effects. The science of genetically modifying organisms is in its infancy, coming online in earnest in the mid-1990s. Pressure from agricultural interests and the scientific community eager to prove the viability of the process has led to what some would call an irresponsible rush market of this product. Ang mga pangmatagalang epekto sa kalusugan ay maaaring mag-iba-iba depende sa mga salik tulad ng genetika, pamumuhay at kapaligiran. Kasama sa ilang karaniwang alalahanin ang mga malalang kondisyon tulad ng mga sakit sa puso, diabetes at arthritis, pati na rin ang mga isyu sa kalusugan ng iniisip gaya ng depression at pagkabalisa. Mahalagang mapanatili ang isang malusog na pamumuhay at humingi ng medikal na payo kung mayroon anumang mga alalahanin tungkol sa iyong pangmatagalang kalusugan. Like example dito is nasa screen, research by scientists across the world has found no relationship between GMOs and mutations. Fertility, pregnancy, and offspring are unaffected by GMOs. Organ health and function unaffected by GMOs. No evidence for gene transfer between GMOs and consumer. Reduce biodiversity. Biodiversity even within a species or genus keeps plant and animal population viable. If a particular virus, for example, affected corn and northern Iowa, but the slightly different of variety corn grown on an ad- ad- adjacent farm was immune, only the portion of different variety of corn ground ang pinababang biodiversity ay tumutukoy sa pagbaba ng pagkakaiba at kasaganaan ng mga species sa isang particular na ecosystem. Maaari itong magkaroon ng makabuluhang negatibong epekto sa katatagan ng ekolohiya ng mga serbisyo ng ecosystem at kapakanan ng tao. Cross-pollination. The potentially negative environmental impacts of GMOs are numerous and many are as yet unknown and could be irreversible. These include the loss of flora and fauna, biodiversity, and unintended harm to other organisms, and reduced effectiveness of pesticides. According to the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, one of the biggest concerns is the creation of superweeds. The unintentionally transfers of herbicide-resistant genes from desired crops to weeds. Some of these concerns, however, are the same concerns that could occur with breeding. Ang cross-pollination ay ang paglipad ng pollen mula sa isang halaman patungo sa isa pang halaman, katulad ng nasa screen, na parehong species. Ito ay mahalagang sa pagkakaiba-iba ng genetic at pagpaparami ng mga halaman. Genetic consequences. The artificial insertion of genes into organism could be destabilize the organism, encourage genetic mutations that could be detrimental either to the environment, to the humans. Both of insertion of the desired gene into crops genome could active or deactive other genes, causing unintentional consequence as well. Ang mga genetic na kahinatnan ng iba't ibang mga kadahilanan ay maaaring naging malawak mula sa mga mutasyon at minanang sakit hanggang sa dinamika ng polusyon at ang mga pagbabago sa evolusyon. Intellectual property. Intellectual property, the risk of GMOs to the world economy may be the significant. It is entirely possible that world food production would be dominated by a few companies, increasing the dependence of developing countries on industrialized nations. Foreign exploitation of natural resources, labeling issues, and scientific advances skewed to interests of richer countries are just a few of the concerns. Although eventually more efficient and economical, initial research and development costs involved in bringing GMO products to market are substantial. To offset these costs, companies patent their products. Infringement issues are major issue. So, ang intellectual property is ang naari-arian na tumutukoy sa mga likha ng isip tulad ng mga imbensyon ng mga aktang pampanitikan at masining mga disenyo, mga simbolo, mga pangalan at mga larawang ginagamit sa komersyo. Pinoprotektahan ito ng mga patent, copyright, trademark at trade secret para i-promote ang innovation at creatively habang nagbibigay ng mga eksklusibong karapatan ng mga creator. Human health is also at stake. GMO plants may create a new allergens or unintentionally confer antibiotic resistance in humans. As part of the technique, genes that confer antibiotic resistance are inserted into GMOs as markers, but they could confer resistance to the antibiotics when consumed by humans. Ang kalusugan ng tao ay sumasaklaw sa pisikal, mental at panlipunang kagalingan. Kabilang dito ang pagpapanatili ng balanse sa iba't ibang aspeto ng buhay, kabilang ang nutrition, ehersisyo, pagtulog, pamamahala ng stress at pag-access pangangalagang pangkalusugan. Food supply at risk. Genetically modified seeds are patented product, and in order to purchase the seeds, customers must sign an agreement for use with the seed manufacturer. As the reliance on GM seeds expands worldwide, concerns about food supply and safety continue to escalate. Genetically engineered seeds are identical in structure, and if a problem affects on one particular crop, a major crop failure can result. Maraming salik na ang maaaring malagay sa alanganin ang supply ng pagkain, kabilang ang matinding lagay ng panahon, pagkabigo sa pananim, mga peste at sakit na nakakaapekto sa mga halaman at hayop, mga pagkambala sa mga network na transportasyon at pamamahagi ng mga salungatan at kawalang tatag ng ekonomiya. Ang mga panganib na ito ay maaaring humantong sa mga kakulangan, pagtaas ng presyo at kawalan ng seguridad sa pagkain para sa mga mahihinang populasyon. Environmental destruction. Most GMO seeds are genetically engineered to be herbicide tolerant, resistant to insect infestation and disease. Environmentalists worried that the characteristic of GM crops may encourage farmers to increase their use herbicides and pesticides, which will raise human consumption dangerous toxins. GM crops also manufacture their own pesticides, which puts further poisons into humans and soil, may cause unforeseen changes in the environment. Another concern is the toxins contained in the GMO plants may harm other organisms, may, may harm organisms such as monarch, caterpillars, bees, and birds. The pesticide found in genetically modified cotton and corn is implicated in the deaths of poultry, cows, horses, sheep, and buffalo worldwide. Although genetically modified organisms have a lot of advantages but still face many ethical issues related to the growing and consumption of genetically engineered crops. They hold potential to greatly increase the nutritional value of food as well as the productivity of crops, while while at the same time provide many safety as well. Environmental